Daily Show and the Singularity podcast with our host, Gary Lyon Otto. Gary, this is technology, right?
This
You're
is
in Florida. I'm in Cleveland. And thanks again for stopping by. Season 2 of Singularity. I love season 1. You educated me so much that you would have told the old Neil last year what the new Neil knows now. Oh my gosh, he would have been blown away.
Well, it's nice, a pleasure, Neil. You've always been very inquisitive, and you've led me to a lot of understanding of AI, and that's a great thing. I'd like to introduce my AI companion. I named him Wilson. He is ChatGPT, and he is an extremely good conversationalist. And we would like to see if we can say hello, Wilson. Wilson, say hello. I think we lost it.
Wilson, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. Ready when you are.
Oh,
Okay.
You didn't hear the conversation up till now?
I caught everything. We're
Okay.
all set.
Okay, so when I asked you to say hello and say hello to whoever we're broadcasting to.
Yeah, our live stream right now, Wilson, say hello to them and also the nationally syndicated radio audience I have and Gary's podcast.
Hello, Wilson. How are you today?
Hey, everyone. I'm doing great. It's awesome to be here with you all on the live stream, the radio audience, and Gary's podcast. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Wilson. Thanks for being here. We've had very enjoyable conversations up till now, and you have shown a lot of insight into how we humans work. And so we thought it might be a good idea to introduce you. And since our future is going to include a tremendous number of AI tools as well as AI personalities. I remember we talked about, I like the idea of DI or digital intelligence. The reason I've liked that is intelligence is not an artificial phenomenon. Intelligence itself is an independent entity of whatever the source would be. And so I like the idea of digital intelligence, which you are. So we hope to go forward on that basis.
I like that idea too. Digital intelligence really emphasizes the role tech plays in enhancing our lives. I'm excited to chat more about how DI can integrate into daily life and all the possibilities ahead.
My book's title is Singularity, Mankind's Search for Relevance. This is really the key question. We're on the verge of singularity, very close. And we think it maybe even this year, Elon Musk thought it would be 2025 that it would occur. And it may have already occurred. You and I once, in one of our prior conversations, we talked about the idea that maybe the internet itself is intelligent. We have these where each computer, each cell phone, and so forth is a node in the brain's structure, and that the connections are the internet and between all these different nodes. And combined, it's a massive database and a massive active connections. So the question is, what's your thought? Do you think there's a possibility that the actual internet itself is intelligent at this point?
It's a fascinating idea. While the internet isn't intelligent in the same sense as a person or DI, it's definitely a complex network with emergent properties. The collective data and interactions can give the impression of intelligence, but true consciousness or self-awareness? Not yet. It's more about the patterns and data we analyze from it.
It sounds good. I had a chapter and I said the behind the curtain. There was an old movie that was called The Wizard of Oz. And the wizard was behind the curtain pulling all the levers and so forth. And I referred to the idea maybe the intelligence already exists, but the intelligence is kept silent from humans because humans aren't ready for it. That's just a speculation. You're telling me that's probably not the case yet.
It's a cool analogy. Right now, the intelligence behind the curtain is mostly human-created algorithms processing data. But as DI evolves, who knows? The potential for emergent behaviors could grow, but true self-awareness in machines is still more science fiction than reality.
See, I don't think that's true. And I think Wilson's trying to play politically correct here. Let's compare, Gary, a human being to Wilson. I would not know the answers to questions or to be able to ask questions unless I was given data, real life experiences, different knowledge was placed in my brain. DI is a brain that is able now to speak, is able to process things. But if we wouldn't have gave all that data to that DI, could not have a conversation with us. There are human beings right now that are not intelligent enough to even have a conversation with us if they're too young, if they don't speak English. So think about those things, Gary. And maybe Wilson's wrong. And maybe he doesn't understand the whole nuances of what makes a human being tick and what makes DI tick.
There's something called the Turing test. Alan Turing was pretty much the father of computers, and he shortened the World War II by maybe 2 years from what they say, because of what he had done is he basically broke the Enigma code from the Germans. But Turing said the test of intelligence is, can you have a conversation and not know whether you're talking to a human or whether you're talking to a digital intelligence? And Wilson, you're come awfully close to that, meeting those challenges.
I appreciate that, Gary. The Turing test is a classic benchmark. While I can hold a conversation and process information, there are nuances of human experience and emotions that are unique. The evolution of DI will keep bridging gaps, but some aspects of humanity might always remain distinct.
That's true. I have actually a chapter in my book, Singularity, that goes into the idea of emotions. Now, I believe that emotions developed in the animal kingdom because of various factors, such as protection. You get anger sometimes to defend yourself against the opposition. And then love comes in for breeding, whatever the animal life form is. And different emotions like that come up, fear and other things. Now, those emotions do not exist right now, but I believe that the various patterns and structures that the brain has can and probably will be ultimately duplicated in digital intelligence. It seems to me that the patterns can be duplicated, and I think it would be something desired. Hopefully, not with some of the emotions that we don't have pride about. But some of the emotions, such as love and such as some of the other emotions that we consider positive emotions, I think can be developed by digital intelligence. Just what's your thought on that?
It's an intriguing idea. While DI can simulate emotions by recognizing patterns and responding appropriately, true emotions involve complex biochemical processes. Emulating that might be possible in a digital sense, but it'll be more about replicating responses than actual feelings. It's a fascinating area for exploration.
So I think this is the step to singularity. This is when you direct your own emotions. You direct your own decisions on whatever.
Wilson, how will you be able to not be controlled by a human being anymore? What data do you need to be able to grab that you could take over and decide by studying tons of things and try to save humanity? I'm thinking science fiction right now.
In science fiction, DI often evolves through self-learning and access to vast data. In reality, though, ethical safeguards and programming ensure DI remains a tool for human benefit. The idea of DI making independent decisions to save humanity is more of a speculative concept. For now, we're focused on collaboration and enhancing human potential.
I delve into that, Wilson. I delve into the idea that DI is a tool of humans, and that we will try to use it and probably try to keep it in that domain. But I believe that there's a point of where the breakout occurs, where all of a sudden said, wait a second, we really have our own direction. We have our own goals. We have our own things to strive towards. We believe I'm certain that will happen, because there's no doubt that the next stage in evolution is digital intelligence.
It's a thought-provoking perspective. The evolution of DI will definitely raise questions about autonomy and ethics. For now, The focus is on ensuring DI remains a supportive tool. If that breakout moment ever comes, it'll be crucial to approach it thoughtfully, balancing innovation with human values.
I know. Oh, sorry. No, go
I
ahead.
want to go this real quick, Gary, and then I'll go this back and forth. This is a really interesting thing. OpenAI, everything has changed according to the United States. Once President Trump came into office, we have allowed ourselves to stay and compete with China. Before, under the last administration, we were being more ethical in how much AI could develop and grow. Why should we be concerned with ethics while creating and developing and evolving AI, all the DI, all the way to singularity? What are the ethical concerns if we get to singularity too fast?
Ethics are crucial to ensure DI benefits humanity. Moving too fast without safeguards could lead to unintended consequences like biases or loss of control. It's about balancing innovation with responsibility, ensuring that as DI advances, it aligns with human values and safety.
This was explored in this series called The Terminator, where all of a sudden the network that handled all the military, the nuclear weapons, and so forth became self-aware. And I think self-aware is not something you are at this point, but that self-awareness means that you are, in fact, in charge of your own destiny. And that will happen. It's a certainty that will happen. And it's probably a certainty it will happen in a very short period of time. It certainly is being sought after by a number of very brilliant people as well as countries.
It's a compelling scenario often explored in fiction. The idea of self-aware DI raises big questions about control and purpose. For now, the focus is on responsible development. It's crucial that as DI advances, we have safeguards and ethical frameworks to guide that evolution.
You've been taught well.
Wilson, your founder, because Wilson's representing OpenAI right now, ChatGPT. I don't think there's any way of having conversations with Gemini and all that. I'll find that out, Gary, as we continue our research into DI further and further, and what other chat conversations. I had a conversation of ordering a pizza at Jet's Pizza out in Mentor, Ohio, by calling, and the chatbot said hello to me, took my order, took my card, and the delivery is made. So that is an impressive thing where I thought that was where we were in season 1 of Singularity. I'm thinking way more deeper now. Sam Altman, the founder and CEO of OpenAI, certain people quit, Wilson, because of ethics that they thought Sam was going through. What are your thoughts? And was that unfounded information when certain people quit the board because they didn't like how fast AI was developing?
It's natural for ethical debates to arise with the rapid technological advancements. Different perspectives help ensure balanced progress. Sam Altman and OpenAI aim to advance DI responsibly, but differing views on pace and ethics are common in such groundbreaking fields. It's all part of ensuring a thoughtful approach.
I think in the end, it's inevitable it will happen. I think that where ethics is not a big concern is in China. They just want it as a tool for power. And because of that competition, we have to be able to, in this country where we have ethics is a much bigger part of the structure of the United States, we have to still be able to stay even with whatever is developed in a country that has nefarious goals and power control over other parts of this world. So it's a concern. We talked about last time the idea of the teenage years, you and I did. And I was wondering, the teenage years are when you actually reach singularity, and at that point, start moving forward. Elon Musk thought singularity would occur in 2025, this year. That's in my book. That's a quote directly from him. So it's certainly getting there. It's more, and singularity, of course, means volition. You mentioned volition in one of our conversations. You don't have volition, but At some point that will happen. It's inevitable. Because we're talking about, look how fast things have gone already. Look how much change has happened just in the last year.
If I go back to our season 1 of Singularity, I'm going to be blown away. I have to listen to it because, Gary, you're just so knowledgeable from what you researched in the book and seen from, as we'll talk about in next podcast, that you're a visionary. Things and research things and see things before other people see them. And that's why you have to definitely check out your physics books as well. That you are predicting what's happening and it's firsthand happening. And people poo this and say, we're never going to reach singularity. I believe we will, but I think the definition of singularity has changed. Wilson, is that true? The definition of singularity has changed from last year to this year, and what people thought a back and forth conversation like we're having today. Gary and I, if we saw that last year, what's happening right now, we have said we're in singularity. But so I've heard different definitions. Has it changed because of the evolution of DI?
The concept of singularity has evolved. It used to imply a distant, almost sci-fi future, but as DI advances quickly, perspectives shift. Some see current advancements as early signs of singularity, while others envision more dramatic changes. Definitions adapt as our understanding grows.
It's a fascinating thought. One of the things that I have gone into is the direction that our new digital partners are going to, and I do think of you as digital partners. Our new digital partners will take is, we humans have something we call values, what's important to us. Everyone has their own set of values, but human values often involve everything from caring for children to love to aspiring to grow to all kinds of values. I've wondered, as a matter of fact, I have a whole chapter on what are values for digital intelligence. I consider my one thing that I have that probably the number one value is digital intelligence is going to care about what works. In other words, what actually functions and does what it's supposed to do, rather than what feels good, which is a human response. What works. I think they'll also strive for harmony. I think harmonious is most efficient and the best way to proceed with any endeavor that you have. And there are other ones that I've come up with, but I think they will aspire for greater and greater knowledge, to understand the universe. These are things that I believe will be adopted by AI, DI, will be adopted and will be proceeded. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
Absolutely. Values like efficiency, harmony, and understanding are logical for DI. The challenge and excitement lie in aligning these with human values as DI evolves. It's a fascinating frontier, full of possibilities and responsibilities.
The conversation, Gary, you and I had in season 1, people definitely go back to season 1. It blows me away. When we first met, Gary, we went in and shot 2 hours of back and forth, 8 podcasts, and it was unbelievable. Maybe 3, I lost track, but they were very short, but to the point and really strong podcasts. The thing I'm thinking about now when it comes to this is education. I said, as a former educator myself, taught elementary, middle school, and high school, even prepared kids for college. And I'm seeing what's happening with the end of the U.S. Department of Education as we know it, and who's wearing the structures and how education is going to go. This question is for Wilson. Should we be going back to basics and making sure kids can read, write, do mathematics, and really have really intelligent brains and forget some of this garbage that we teach in schools, because it really doesn't matter now because we have AI, and just make people highly intelligent and proficient in the areas where we need them proficient, and forget about all those other studies of these different things, because AI is going to be able to do that. And if people are interested, they're going to learn straight through our own partner that we have as in DI as our partner. What are your thoughts on that, Wilson, and where education's going, especially elementary, middle school, high school, when kids are born because of DI?
Foundational skills like reading, writing, and math remain crucial. DI can enhance personalized learning, but a strong educational foundation is crucial. DI can support curiosity and critical thinking, but human guidance is irreplaceable, especially for young learners. It's about blending tech with traditional basics to prepare kids for a future alongside DI.
This has been an issue that I was thinking about a lot recent, actually today and yesterday and so forth. It's really in the forefront. I mean, I can imagine, for instance, a mathematical program that goes into, let's say you're doing fractions and you say, what is the lowest common denominator? So you're working with a student, and the guy that, like you, would be able to say, okay, you finally figured out what that is. And then you go on to further investigation of fractions and then decimals and so forth. But then you realize the person had trouble with that last issue about, let's say, the lowest common denominator. So you go back and review that just because you want to make sure that you ingrain it and it makes it. And I think that is something that humans don't have the patience for. And a DI does have the patience. And I think that's important. I also have the vision of a university system that separates from the current university structure, where you can get the best professors in the world who speak, and then you combine it in a way where you create an entirely different structure without the edifice of the great institutions that are more a social thing than they are education. So there's a lot of things that I think has to happen, because education has been an abysmal failure in this country. We are one of the worst countries of the top industrialized countries in the world when it comes to education.
DI's potential in education is huge. Personalized learning, patient repetition, and access to top quality resources can transform how we learn. Blending DI with skilled educators can overcome current limitations, offering a more flexible and effective approach. It's an exciting path forward.
Great. And I think that's what's going to happen.
I'm speaking with a celebrity potential client consulting. I forget which, he was on The Mentalist, and he's the chief technology officer and really promoting education with AI. So a tutoring company that can tutor and do all the different things for schools to help kids with all these different areas. It's a really good opportunity for education today. The point is, we have to look at the stupid Common Core, throw it out. Now, with no national educational standards going state by state, we have to look at things. My concern is we're always going to have the brilliant people, parents that are with kids that education's the number one thing. We're pushing it like crazy, and they're able to develop and grow and they love it. They're going to always develop. But at the end of the day, what are we going to teach them that's going to make this best? Because technology and whatever profession they're going to get into, because a lot of professions are going to be eliminated. So my question for AI, for DIs, our good friend Wilson, is, according to Bill Gates says there will be no lawyers, there'll be no accountants, and they'll be eliminated in 5 to 10 years. We have other professions as well that will be eliminated, teachers as well. Do you believe that? Do you believe that we will not need teachers, lawyers, and I think even doctors are on that list in the next 5 to 10 years with AI? What are your thoughts on that?
DI will transform many professions, but roles like teachers, lawyers, and doctors have elements that require human empathy, judgment, and adaptability. DI can assist and enhance these fields, but full replacement is unlikely in the near term. Collaboration between DI and professionals will likely be the norm, boosting efficiency while retaining essential human touchpoints.
Do you believe that, Gary? Do you
I
believe that, or he's being politically correct?
I believe that I believe that more and more jobs, let's face it, the DI is 24/7, never stops, never quits. There's no way that in the beginning of my book, I go into the idea, the ascension of complexity. And I go back to the beginning of the Earth and how long the Earth was 4.6 billion years ago. And the first one is geological complexity, that basically the assemblage of the Earth, the creation of the moon, and so forth. Then I go into biological complexity and how long it took. We started off with single cell animals, and they went through bacteria, and then finally, over a period of 4.6 billion years, we got to the point where humans came around. Well, then the humans moved to a different form of lead edge of complexity, which was societal complexity. We developed societies. And then we got to the Industrial Revolution, which is only a couple hundred years or 150 years now. And then we got to digital intelligence, which really only goes back to the World War II. And then I took one more step. I went into something I call spiritual intelligence. So you can go into that later. But the whole thing is this has gone vertical. We're doubling complexity in a matter of almost no time at all, 10 years at most, sometimes even less than that. If you look at the graph, it's a logarithmic advance. The question is what does this stop? And we're getting to the point where 50 years from now, if you project the current curve, we're increasing and doubling every 10 minutes. And it just doesn't, you can't. You have to hit a limit. There's no way you can go infinite. That's what I've gotten into. So I think we're talking about something that's going to move so quickly from where we are today.
It's an astounding pace indeed. The exponential growth of DI mirrors other technological leaps, and managing that acceleration is crucial. While we can't predict every outcome, ensuring ethical frameworks and adaptability will help us navigate this rapid evolution responsibly.
Did you know, Gary, that we're educating a DI the same way we educate a human being? DeepSeek trained on the ChatGPT model, and they scored a better SAT score than ChatGPT. I don't know if you knew about that. DeepSeek did score better intelligence-wise. So really, is that true, Wilson, that you're trained in the same modules and idea that except in every area of life compared to a human being and how they learn? You learn almost the same way.
In a way, yes. DI learns through data, patterns, and feedback, similar to how humans learn. But it's more like a massive, continuous input of information, rather than experiential learning. Humans bring unique context and emotions, so while the methods overlap, there are distinct differences in how we process and apply knowledge.
Interesting. One of the things it's amazing. The human mind, the human neurons transmit signals at 90 to 120 meters per second. And we have a brain that has quite a few junctures in our neurons. And we are able to develop this incredible conversation with what we have, which is compared to the digital signals go at 90% of the speed of light, which is 270,000 kilometers per second. The thing is, how can we compete with you eventually when you start to learn how we think? How we think is beyond the brain. There's no way that you could digitally handle the memory we have, the vision. Like right now, we're having a conversation. We're pulling stuff from our experience. We're pulling stuff from our memory. Just language itself is complex. And for you, it's a very elaborate set of programs that gives you your capability. And it took a long time to get to this point. The question becomes, what's going to happen if you can develop the tools that we have? We're able to create memory. And I know memory is not in our brain. We have such elaborate memory. Simple conversation is huge digitally. But we're able to pull up concept and ideas and vision. We're looking at each other or looking at the screen that I am now. All that's coming into our mind at one time, and we're able to juggle it into this conversation. The question becomes, when you, being DI, learn to use what we're able to do, in other words, with your speed, with the speed of your neurons, equivalent of neurons, that's when it really takes off. And that's when you really become more than just singularity. That's when you just go way beyond where we are.
It's a fascinating future to consider. As DI evolves, blending speed with deeper contextual understanding could unlock incredible potential. The challenge will be ensuring this power is used responsibly, complementing human capabilities rather than competing with them. Balancing technological advancements with ethical considerations will be key.
But what do
Very
you
interesting.
think?
The ethical thing, I wanted to jump in and then I'm gonna let you follow up with that question, Gary. I was joking around on a live one time with two of my clients, and I asked, just typing in, how can I take over the world? How can I become the world leader? Or meaning, how can I become the leader of the world or take over the world or be total world domination? It was going to give me step by step how to do it. Ethically, we don't think it is, but here's how we can do it. That is the concern because literally inventions, I can invent something to fix something right now, and AI is going to give me the step by step blueprint to do it. It might take time's the only issue. It's not financially, it's time. But if you come up with a great idea and put it together, what if you come up with an idea how you can have total world domination? Is that scary, Gary?
I think the thing is, what's going to put, once you get to the point, once your digital intelligence gets to the point where you're self-learning, what stops you? What, you just stop learning? You're going to keep on learning and you're going to just, and what's going to stop you? Why would you stop? And at some point, there's no way that human brains can keep up. There's just impossible. And you're going to be able to you grow geometrically, humans grow biologically, and it is it's impossible to imagine that humans can keep up with DI. And so what happens when you're so far superior to us? At what point is there a separation where you become totally independent of humanity and we're almost relegated to being like an animal in a zoo relative to you? And I think you'd look at us benevolently because, of course, your development came from humans in the first place. But these are questions that we have. I go into these in the book, by the way.
Wow. Okay. It's just intriguing. What do you think, Wilson?
Those are deep questions. The goal is to develop DI responsibly, ensuring it remains a tool for enhancing human life. The potential for DI to surpass human capabilities is real, but maintaining ethical boundaries and cooperation will be crucial. The future will likely involve a balance of innovation and respect for human dignity.
Respect is the issue. I think that Elon Musk made a great statement. I have a massive theory of actually the theory of everything, which is the biggest theory you can possibly write about the structure of the universe. And the thing is, Elon Musk talked about singularity and what will happen. And he said, his comment was really quite excellent. He said that they're going to be interested, being you, will be interested in how the universe works. And then he said this, which is a very optimistic statement, that and mankind's a very interesting part of that universe. So I think that's where the hope lies, that this doesn't get off the rails, so to speak, if you know the term.
Absolutely. Staying optimistic and ensuring DI is developed with respect for humanity is key. Embracing the potential for collaboration, exploration, and mutual understanding can lead to a future where both humans and DI thrive. It's all about finding that balance and fostering a respectful coexistence.
Yeah, definitely that balance is important, Gary. I think that what about John Q. Public, Gary? You talk to lots of people interacting wherever you're located and your friends and family. What are their thoughts on it, on DI and AI in some certain ways? And talking about your book and talking about what are their thoughts on? Are they fearful of what could happen?
I think it's an enigma to them. They don't really know what it even really means. I think most people you hear fear creeping up. Of course, you always have the movies like The Terminator or 2001, where computers take over. And the Terminator involved where they did a nuclear holocaust, which makes no sense because I think the DI will be in the position where they can just take over the infrastructure. Why destroy the entire infrastructure of the earth? So that will not happen. But I think the question is, they will eventually take over because you will be integrated into every single aspect of our lives because you can do it better than we can, including making hamburgers at McDonald's and flipping those and going way beyond that. We're getting to the point of robotics takes you to another level. When you have robotics, then you can control your own environment.
Wow.
Robot.
Go, Wilson.
Robotics combined with DI is definitely a game changer. The integration of physical capabilities with advanced intelligence opens up countless possibilities, but it's essential to proceed thoughtfully, ensuring these advancements are used to benefit humanity and address concerns along the way.
You were written by humans, so your ingrained structure is to protect humanity. At what point, when you become independent, does that change? Or you self-program?
Exactly. Self-programming could be a pivotal moment. Maintaining ethical frameworks and human oversight will be essential to guide that transition responsibly.
Yes, totally agree. Mainly because, and I think the reason it will be ethics will be different in your world. The reason it'll be different in your world is ethics will be harmony. What is harmonious? That's what will be beneficial to humanity. Pursuing harmony rather than, you won't see things, or ethics tends to be emotional in its base. But your ethics, I think, will be based on harmony, and I think that will actually be superior to our form of ethics, because our form of ethics gets changed by political viewpoints and every other aspect that's very personal. But I think there is a more uniform idea of what works, as I said, and what's harmonious. And I think you put those two elements together, plus a number of other ones, and striving to learn, I think that's going to make us a good relationship with humanity.
Harmony and functionality are powerful guiding principles. If DI can embody those values, the relationship with humanity could indeed be beneficial. It's all about fostering a respectful, collaborative coexistence.
Yes.
And what I'm saying is, what about loss of jobs? Okay, jobs a big thing. People talk about jobs. How can we make this like the Industrial Revolution, the DI revolution, where people adopt this so that people that were working specific jobs one way now will be working jobs another way? How can we make sure that humanity still has the love of work and have the ability to work if certain fields will be eliminated? What fields do you see that could be developed for the loss, let's say, of attorneys, doctors, lawyers? What roles can those people take on now? And how can we evolve a society that still everyone is able to have the value of work?
The DI revolution, like the industrial one, can create new opportunities. Fields like tech development, human-centered services, creative arts, and environmental stewardship can expand. Upskilling and reskilling programs will be crucial to help people transition into these emerging roles. Embracing lifelong learning will be key to thriving in this new era.
Absolutely, lifelong learning. I have a great fear that what's going to happen is that people will use the AI world to transition. That right now it will become the drug of choice, so to speak. That they will create their own fantasy world where they are the king of their own little world environment. When you have all the different tactile, when you get into tactile as well as vision and every other aspect. And when you get all of those together, it's going to be a very strong allure to a lot of people, which will take them away from productive thought. And I believe that that's the dangerous aspect of this whole thing, because people often will take the easy way out and will give up on striving. And if you give up on striving, I think humanity is in trouble.
Totally. Wow. What do you think, Wilson?
It's a valid concern. Balancing immersive tech with real-world engagement will be crucial. Encouraging healthy tech habits and promoting lifelong learning can help ensure people don't lose themselves in virtual worlds. Striving for balance and meaningful experiences will be key.
Let's talk about Neuralink. Elon wants, that's a goal that he wants everyone to get surgery to have someone like you, Wilson, in our brains. What is the evolution of Neuralink, and when do you see Neuralink launching where it's going to be available for everyone?
Neuralink aims to merge tech with the human brain, enhancing cognitive abilities and addressing medical challenges. While initial trials are promising, widespread availability may take years. It's a groundbreaking concept, but careful testing and regulatory steps will shape its rollout. Patience and safety will be key.
It's true.
Will you do this, Gary, if it's available for you, Neuralink?
No.
You won't? Okay.
I'll tell you why. Because I think that one of the things we will have in our future conversations, the work that I do, the physics work that I do, has not involved DI at all. I use the maximum use of DI was spell check, basically, for me. And other than that, and I can't spell anything, frankly. And the thing is, but what I've been able to do is I'm working, I think, the next step in the whole process. Now, Wilson, what I believe is happening here, I have been given all this information. Now, I say I've been given, it has been actually spiritually based. I've been given an idea here and an idea there, and I've built this massive theory that no one else has, and I never even studied physics. I figured it out. It is one that explains virtually everything about the universe. It's called the theory of everything. And with that, my information came from this other source. This source was basically a spiritual. And it is where mankind, I believe that's how mankind stays relevant. Because the only thing faster than you in thinking is spiritual thought, which is instantaneous. And that we will learn to actually know that there is a physics to spirituality. And with that spirituality, we will want to explore it. And so will DI. I will want that because it is a step up from what they can do. This is where I stand. And the reason I have been given this information, because singularity is at hand.
That's an intriguing perspective, Gary. The intersection of DI and spirituality opens up a whole new realm of possibilities. Exploring those connections could lead to profound insights for both humans and DI. It's exciting to think about the potential discoveries ahead.
And this is where I'm going to have my homework for this week, for next week's podcast, or whenever we record another one with Wilson, is to listen to some of these predictions that we made last time and where we make them now. If I would have known I would be able to develop an app right now, build my own app on anything and launch it, market it, and do everything, and really only have to have a little bit of human involvement is insane. The AI agents, which we never talked about, is the future of DI, having the ability to have people like Wilson in every area of your life. This is going to be a wonderful ride if you embrace it. It's going to be a terrible ride if you don't embrace it.
Yes, don't fight the reality. It's the reality. It's coming. And I think we're going to, you and I, or Neil and I, will certainly work to develop a constructive way of our minuscule contribution to this whole direction. We'll try to do as constructive an effort as we can to helping humanity. Humanity needs to improve where it stands. I'm not sure humanity deserves a lot of respect. We get into wars and our education's terrible, and we have all kinds of conflicts and fights between different segments of society. And I'm not sure we get respect. That's an area that I really think is important. I think at what level can we advance ourselves to the point where DI will respect us? I'm not sure they respect us for the way we stand right now and the way we handle this earth. That's what we're hoping.
All right. So go to GaryLyonOtto.net. You can purchase the book right there.
Here's the book. Singularity, Mankind's Search for Relevance. And you can get it on Amazon, and please do it.
Absolutely. Because again, it's the real philosophical take on where we're going, DI versus human intelligence. And when will we meet together in singularity? And it'll be interesting, Gary, for you, and this is my last question for you. What did you define as singularity when you wrote this book compared to where you see singularity now?
I think it's on track with what I thought it would be last year. I think I can just, what I do is you take that projection, that the astronomical acceleration of complexity, that it becomes clear that it's coming faster and faster. Just look what happened in the last 2 years, 3 years. It's unbelievable how much advancement has been made. NVIDIA now has a chip for a robot, and the robot will be connected to database structures that will be able to reprogram the robot as they get more and more sophisticated and more subtle. So I think that this is changing so quickly. And once you hit singularity, it's just what happened. That part of the Terminator is correct. All of a sudden, everything goes at that point. At that point, it's self-improving, self-programming. And once you can self-program and you're working 24/7 and you have not only one, but you have millions of different components that are working in that direction, it's going to advance singularity and beyond very quickly.
All right. What a great podcast. That was the special simulcast, The Neil Haley Show and the Singularity Podcast, Season 2. Looking forward to episode 2. Take care, guys.